Our featured NIC Talk speaker is Thomas J. DeRosa, Chief Executive Officer of Welltower. Mr. DeRosa's talk is titled Aging by Design. Ladies and gentlemen, Thomas J. DeRosa.
My grandparents died in the 1970s, in their 70s. And no one said they died before their time. Because back in the 1970s, if we were lucky, we lived to our 70s. Many of my friends didn't have grandparents because they died in their 60s or they didn't remember their grandparents. But I have great memories. I remember trips to the beach, Sunday dinners, followed by watching the Ed Sullivan Show, and then Mr. Ed came on, and My Mother the Car. These are great memories, and I feel very fortunate to have those memories. And I first became aware of these two very special people when they were in their late 50s. And to me, they were old people. By the time he was 60, Gramps had retired from the Pfizer pharmaceutical company, and he lived a life of leisure. He woke up every morning, he put his suit on, and basically read the newspaper, met up with his friends for lunch, had a few drinks, smoked a few cigarettes or cigars. Cocktails were at 5, followed by an early dinner. And I remember the only time I saw him not in a suit, really, was in a bathing suit. Wore a suit every day. It was extraordinary. So he was an old gentleman. And what's so interesting about that, this age that I remember him, I'm that age today. I'm 57 years old, probably when I first recognized him, that he was a presence in my life. And we have some similarities. We were both married to the same woman for 30 years. And we're both, at that age, losing our hair. But that's where the similarities really end. Because if I look at my life today, I have a job that requires me to work 24/7. So I am not pursuing a life of leisure. Like my granddad, I have 4 children, but none of them are married. 2 are in college. 2 are out of college and kind of off the payroll. And I certainly don't have any grandchildren. Now, he smoked 2 packs of Camels a day through a Pearl cigarette holder. I've never smoked. Don't drink much. And I eat some things pretty regularly that he probably never heard of. Kale, quinoa, and chia seeds. While he had a tendency to stay pretty close to home, I travel. I travel for work all the time and travel for leisure. And I'm relatively active. Those who work with me know I don't exercise very much anymore, but I used to exercise 2 hours a day, as I tell everyone, before I was in this job. I try and ski whenever I can. And like Hillary Clinton, I know how to whip, and I can nay-nay, and I can break my leg. So, because of that, my physician recently told me, you know, you're a pretty healthy guy. You actually, we can't find any amyloid protein in your system. Everybody know what that is? It's plaque. Couldn't find any amyloid protein in a PET scan in my coronary system or in my brain. He goes, you're gonna live to 115. Fantastic. So let's look at the current model for me. I guess I'm gonna retire at 65. And when I turn 65, I'm gonna collect Social Security. And then my health benefits are gonna be paid for by Medicare. and I'll start collecting on my defined benefit pension plan. Anybody in this room have a defined benefit pension plan? I don't see many. I don't have one. So this is the current model. And it works. It works really well. It's worked for decades. If you die at 73. But what about someone who's living to 115? It does not work. We, as a society, need to design a better system for aging, or we're gonna hit the proverbial wall. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is how do we do that? So design, when you hear the word design, you think about a process applied to physical objects. Good design brings form, function, and solutions to complex problems. So, prior to Thomas Edison inventing the incandescent light bulb, when we needed light, we used fire. Kind of dangerous. But Thomas Edison allowed the world to be illuminated. He was really a great disruptor. The Wright brothers dealt with a problem of travel by inventing a machine that could fly in the air. It's totally changed our lives. Tesla has invented a car that doesn't run on gasoline. And so it's really green, and it's quite beautiful. So firms like IDEO and Frog, Lindsay, are taking design thinking, because these are firms that designed products, but they're taking design thinking away from products to thinking about bigger issues and designing better solutions. And so we need to take some of their principles and bring it to aging. So let's start with work. All right, you're gonna live to 100. Should you retire at 60? If you retire at 60, you've probably worked less time than you didn't work in your adult life. And that's great if you have a lot of money, but that requires a lot of money. It's gonna take a lot of money to live to 100. And what's interesting, 77% of people wanna work after retiring. So we need to create opportunities for people to have encore careers. And we've at Welltower have identified a group that we are going after big time, women 55 up. This is a group of people that have energy, that have talent. Let's face it, guys, at 55, we become tired. But women have energy. And we're seeing systems like in Singapore where they are actually increasing the retirement age and getting real GDP growth. We need to redesign health. You've heard some of my friends this morning talk about wellness. What is wellness? Wellness is nutrition. Wellness is social and cognitive engagement, and wellness is mobility. And without wellness, we end up in that acute care hospital bed. We have to stop that. We cannot survive if we will continue to think as the acute care hospital as the center of healthcare delivery. We need to move healthcare delivery from a reactive, crisis-driven system to a proactive, wellness-focused system. Let's talk about communities. 90% of Americans want to age at home. What does that mean? Does that mean those houses that Lauren showed you pictures of? My mother wants to age at home, and at 93, she still is aging at home. And it's ridiculous. She is not in a safe environment, her nutrition is compromised, and she's lonely. So I think we need to redefine what people think of as home. And the fact is, home is not a physical place. Home is community. It's that place of friends, of family, of familiar shops, of houses of worship. That's what home is. And the senior housing industry is able to keep people in their communities and keep them thriving as they age. And you know what's astounding? There are many markets in this country that really don't have a solution for seniors today, and you might be surprised to know that the island of Manhattan is one of those places. Very limited options for people who need assistance with daily living. And if you have Alzheimer's or any other dementia, you are out of luck. That is unacceptable, and we need to do something about that. We also need to do something about affordability, because not everyone's going to be able to afford this product. So we need to design better community solutions to manage this growing population of people 85 and up who are going to dominate our society. We need to think about where people are living. People have moved back to the cities. My parents' generation couldn't wait to get out of the cities to the suburbs, but their baby boomer children are moving back into the urban cores. You know why? Because that's where their children want to live. I often say it's because of the iPhone, which makes us want to connect to people, places, and things. So we need to make our cities safer and more hospitable to this older population. We talked a little bit about money. Interesting statistic I learned yesterday. Merrill Lynch now has gerontologists on staff to help their financial advisors deal with an aging client base and prepare them to be able to take a longer-term focus on their assets. So my message to you is we need to approach aging from a positive perspective. We need to redesign the aging model to harness the talent, creativity, experience, and just wonderful aspects of our elders, and stop looking at them as a liability. Let's celebrate aging.